It was almost midnight. The street was silent. No cars. No voices. Only the sound of cold wind moving between empty houses. A young woman stood outside a large family home, holding 3 newborn babies close to her chest. Each baby was wrapped in a thin blanket. Their tiny cries were weak, tired, and cold. Her name was Elena. She had given birth just 2 hours ago. Her body was still shaking. Her legs felt weak. Her heart was heavy, but she tried not to cry. She looked at the front door one last time. The door she once believed was her safe place. The door that now felt like a wall made of stone. Behind that door stood her husband and his family. Her husband did not come outside. He stayed inside, standing next to his mother. His face was cold. No emotion. No love. Just silence. His mother spoke instead. "You cannot stay here anymore," she said in a flat voice. "You and those babies are not our responsibility." Elena's hands tightened around the babies. "They are your grandchildren," she whispered. "Please, that's cold." The old woman did not move. "My son needs a clean future," she replied. "You are a burden." The door slowly closed. The sound of the lock was loud in the quiet night. Elena stood frozen. The door was shut. The lights inside the house turned off. Just like that, her life was pushed into the dark. The babies cried louder now. She looked down at their tiny faces. 3 lives. 3 hearts beating against her chest. She forced herself to breathe. "It's okay," she whispered. "Mama is here." But inside, she was breaking. Just a few hours earlier, she was lying in a hospital bed. White lights. Doctors. Nurses. Pain. Fear. Then 3 cries filled the room. 1 baby. Then another. Then a third. Triplets. She remembered smiling through tears, thinking her life was finally complete. She believed her husband would protect her. She believed his family would stand with her. She was wrong. The wind grew colder. Elena slowly walked away from the house. Each step hurt. Her body was not ready, but she had no choice. She walked down the empty street, not knowing where to go. No bag. No money. No phone battery. No plan. Only her babies. She reached a bus stop and sat down on the cold bench. She placed her coat around the babies, trying to block the wind. 1 baby stopped crying and fell asleep. The other 2 kept moving, searching for warmth. Elena looked at the dark sky. "God," she whispered, "please don't let them suffer." Her tears finally fell. Minutes passed. Then more minutes. Across the street, a black luxury car stopped quietly. The engine stayed on. The windows were dark. Someone inside was watching her. Elena did not notice. She was too focused on her babies. One of them suddenly cried louder than before. She checked him and noticed his skin felt colder. Fear rushed through her chest. "No, no, please," she whispered. She stood up quickly, panic in her eyes. She looked around, hoping to see someone. Anyone. The street was empty. This is silent family tears, a place where silent pain speaks and forgotten voices are heard. If stories of strength, betrayal, and truth touch your heart, subscribe now. And if this story makes you feel something, please leave a comment below. Continue the story. Your voice matters here. Elena hugged the babies tighter. Her arms hurt. Her back burned. But she refused to let go. She remembered something her mother once told her. Silence does not mean weakness. Sometimes, silence is power. Elena closed her eyes for a moment. She was silent now, but she was not weak. Inside the baby bag, hidden under a cloth, was a sealed envelope. She had carried it for months, but never opened it. Her husband never knew about it. No one did. She touched the edge of the envelope through the bag. "Not yet," she whispered to herself. She wasn't ready. Suddenly, footsteps echoed nearby. Elena looked up, fear in her eyes. A man walked past her, looked at her for 1 second, then looked away. He did not stop. He did not ask questions. He disappeared into the darkness. Elena felt invisible. The black car across the street moved slowly, then stopped again. A voice inside the car spoke quietly. "That's her," the voice said. "And those are the babies." Elena still did not know. She looked down at her children and whispered, "They think I am nothing. They think I have no future. They think they ended my story tonight." Her voice became firm. "But this is not the end." The black car's door opened. Someone stepped out, and Elena finally looked up. The man from the black car did not rush toward Elena. He stopped a few steps away and watched her carefully. His coat was clean. His shoes were polished. He did not look like someone from the street. Elena held her babies tighter. "Please," she said softly, her voice shaking. I don't want trouble. The man raised his hand slowly. I'm not here to hurt you, he said. I just want to know if you're okay. Elena did not answer. She looked at his eyes, trying to understand if he was telling the truth. Life had taught her one thing tonight. Trust could disappear in seconds. The man looked at the babies. His face changed. Not pity. Something deeper. They're freezing, he said quietly. Before Elena could respond, the man took off his coat and gently placed it around the babies. Warmth wrapped around them instantly. One baby stopped crying. Elena felt her throat tighten. Thank you, she whispered. The man nodded. An ambulance is coming, he said. Someone called. Elena's eyes widened. No, she said quickly. Please don't call anyone. Why? The man asked. She looked away. They will find me, she said. And they will take them. The man did not push her. He stepped back and pulled out his phone. Then I'll cancel it, he said calmly. He did exactly that. Elena watched him in silence. Minutes later, the man returned to his car. He did not force her to come. He did not ask her name. He only left one thing behind, a small card. If you need help, he said, placing it on the bench, use this. Then he left. The black card disappeared into the night. Elena sat there for a long time after that. The streetlights flickered. The baby slept against her chest. Her body ached, but her mind was awake. For the first time since the door closed behind her, she felt something new. Not hope, control. As the night slowly turned into early morning, Elena stood up. She walked carefully to a nearby shelter she remembered from years ago. It was small, quiet, and almost empty at this hour. A woman at the desk looked at her and froze. Oh my God, the woman whispered. You just gave birth. Elena nodded. Within minutes, they gave her a small room. A bed, warm blankets, milk for the babies. When Elena finally sat down, her legs gave out. She collapsed onto the bed, holding the babies close. She cried silently. Not loud, not broken, just tears sliding down her face, soaking into the pillow. That morning, far away, her husband woke up in a warm bed. The house was quiet. Too quiet. His mother entered the room with a serious face. There's a problem, she said. What problem? He asked, annoyed. The bank called, she replied. The account is frozen. He sat up fast. That's impossible. She shook her head. And the company lawyer wants a meeting. Urgent. His heart skipped a beat. Back at the shelter, Elena slowly opened the baby bag. She pulled out the sealed envelope. Her fingers trembled. She remembered the day she received it. A meeting. A signature. A promise. A warning. Keep this safe, the man had told her back then. And never let anyone pressure you. She took a deep breath and opened the envelope. Inside were legal documents. Company papers. Ownership papers. Her name was written clearly at the top. Elena stared at it. This was the truth her husband never knew. The truth his family never imagined. She was not helpless. She never was. She had stayed quiet because she believed in love. Because she believed in family. That belief died at midnight. Elena looked at her babies sleeping peacefully. They threw us out like trash, she whispered. But they don't know who your mother is. She folded the papers carefully and placed them back inside the bag. Not yet, she said again. This time, her voice was steady. Later that day, a nurse from the shelter approached her. There's a man here asking about you, the nurse said. He says he's a lawyer. Elena's eyes narrowed. Tell him to wait, she said. She stood up slowly, adjusted the blanket around her babies, and walked toward the office. Through the glass door, she saw him. The same man from the black car. He smiled gently when he saw her. I told you, he said softly. Help always finds its way. Elena looked at him, then at her babies. She finally spoke with strength in her voice. Now, she said, it's my turn. At that exact moment, across the city, her husband stared at a document in shock. The name at the top made his hands shake. It was hers. Elena sat across the table from the man in the dark suit. He was calm, professional, and respectful. The babies slept beside her, unaware that their lives were about to change forever. My name is Daniel, the man said. I represent the company listed in those documents. Elena nodded. She already knew. You are the legal owner, Daniel continued. 100%. Elena looked down at her hands. They no longer shook. They tried to destroy me, she said softly. And my children. Daniel leaned forward. And they failed. Across the city, chaos had begun. Elena's husband sat in a glass office room, staring at the paper in front of him. His mother stood beside him, pale and silent. Lawyers spoke, but he could barely hear them. This must be fake, he said. She had nothing. The lawyer shook his head. The ownership is real. The signatures are real. The company is now under her control. His chest tightened. How long has this been in her name? He asked. The answer felt like a knife. Since before the marriage. Silence filled the room. Back at the shelter, Elena listened carefully as Daniel explained everything. The company was placed in your name for protection, he said. Your late father planned this. Elena closed her eyes for a moment. Her father, a quiet man, a smart man, a man who trusted her strength more than words. He said you would know when to speak, Daniel added. Elena opened her eyes. Now I know, she replied. Days passed. Elena did not rush. She did not post online. She did not call her husband. She did not confront anyone. She waited. She moved into a private residence arranged quietly. Nurses helped with the babies. Doctors checked them daily. Warm rooms replaced cold streets. For the first time, Elena slept without fear. But she did not forget. Her husband, however, could not sleep at all. Every door closed in front of him. Every call went unanswered. Every deal fell apart. At night, he remembered the moment he stayed silent while the door closed on Elena. The sound haunted him. One morning, Elena stood in front of a mirror. She looked different now. Not richer. Not louder. Stronger. She wore simple clothes. No jewelry. No signs of power. Only calm confidence. Daniel entered the room. They're asking for a meeting, he said. Elena smiled slightly. Good, she replied. I'm ready. The meeting was held in a large hall. Elena walked in slowly, pushing the stroller with her triplets. Conversation stopped. Eyes turned. Whispers filled the air. Her husband froze. He did not recognize her at first. Not because she looked different, but because he had never truly seen her before. Elena, he whispered. She did not respond. She took her seat at the head of the table. Daniel stood. Ladies and gentlemen, he said clearly. Allow me to introduce the majority owner and decision-maker of this company. He paused. Mrs. Elena. Gasps echoed. Her husband stood up suddenly. This is a mistake, he said loudly. She doesn't belong here. Elena finally looked at him. Her eyes were calm. No anger. No hate. Just truth. I belonged at home, she said quietly. You chose the street. Silence fell like a heavy weight. She stood up slowly, placing one hand on the stroller. I am not here for revenge, she continued. I am here for responsibility. She turned to the board. The company will move forward. With honesty, with respect, and without cruelty. Her words were soft, but they cut deep. Later, outside the building, her husband followed her. Elena, please, he said, desperation in his voice. I didn't know. She stopped. You knew, she replied. You just didn't care. She walked away. That night, Elena sat beside her babies. You won't grow up in silence, she whispered. You won't beg for warmth. She kissed their tiny foreheads. A legal notice arrived at her husband's house. Not punishment, not destruction, just one line. The home is now under new ownership. The signature at the bottom was clear. Elena. The house was silent. The same house that once threw Elena and her newborn triplets out at midnight now stood empty and cold. No voices. No laughter. No pride left inside its walls. Elena stood outside the gate. She did not come with anger. She did not come to shout. She came to close a chapter. The keys felt heavy in her hand. Inside the house, her husband sat alone at the dining table. His mother sat across from him, older and tired. The power they once believed would last forever was gone. When the door opened, both of them looked up. Elena walked in calmly, pushing the stroller. The babies were quiet. Her husband stood up slowly. You came, he said, his voice low. Elena nodded once. I came for my children, she replied. Her voice was steady. No pain left in it. They sat down. No lawyers. No guards. No shouting. Just truth. I lost everything, her husband said after a long silence. I know I deserve it. Elena looked at him carefully. You didn't lose everything, she said. You lost what you never respected. Her mother-in-law tried to speak. We did what we thought was best, the old woman said weakly. Elena looked at her. You thought power was love, she replied. You were wrong. The room fell silent again. Elena reached into her bag and placed a document on the table. Her husband stared at it, fear in his eyes. What is this? He asked. Elena took a deep breath. This is not revenge, she said. This is my choice. The document explained everything. The house would not be taken from them. They would be allowed to stay, but it would never belong to them again. They would live there as tenants. No control, no pride, just reality. Her husband looked up, confused. Why, he asked. After everything, why not destroy us? Elena stood up slowly. Because my children will never learn cruelty from me, she said. Her words were soft, but final. She turned toward the door. Her husband followed her. Elena, he said, his voice breaking. Can I at least see them? Elena stopped. She looked down at the babies. 3 small lives. 3 reasons she survived. She turned back to him. You can see them, she said, but you will never own them. You will earn every moment. Tears filled his eyes. She walked away. Weeks passed. News spread quietly. Not of a scandal, not of revenge, but of a woman who chose dignity over destruction. Elena moved into a peaceful home surrounded by trees and light. Nurses helped. Friends returned. Life slowly rebuilt itself. Her babies grew stronger each day. She watched them sleep and smiled. One evening, Elena received a letter. It was from a woman she didn't know. I saw your story, the letter said. I left my abusive home tonight because of you. Elena held the letter close to her chest. For the first time, she cried again. But these were different tears. They were healing tears. On a quiet night, Elena sat by the window, holding one baby in her arms while the other 2 slept nearby. She whispered softly. They tried to break us in silence. But silence made us strong. She kissed her baby's forehead. Elena did not take back her husband. She did not forgive the past. But she ended the cycle. Her children would never know what it feels like to be thrown out into the cold. They would only know warmth. This story is not about wealth. It is not about power. It is about choosing strength when the world expects you to break. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to Silent Family Tears. And if it made you feel something, leave a comment below. Your voice matters. Because sometimes, the strongest tears are the silent ones.